Hi, so in this video, I'm going to share what I will be using with my 6th grader this year, and I will also sprinkle in some of the things I'll be doing with my my other two daughters who are now in 1st and 3rd grade. Most times I just share one curriculum that we're using because for the most part I just use like the same curriculum that I used with my eldest for the others, but for one of them in particular I do sometimes have to like make changes and sometimes use like whether it's some free resources or like workbook stuff to adjust for her. But for the most part I use more or less the same thing going down. There is one curriculum that I would be changing for the other two that's coming up, and I'll mention that as I go through my choices. I do go a little bit in a little bit more detail in a blog post that's linked below, so if it is you are interested, you can check that out. Otherwise I'll just get into the video. All right, so for Bible study, my kids, they read their Bibles at the table. My eldest use a regular Bible. My 6-year-old is reading from the Beginner's Bible for Toddlers. I just assigned them Bibles that we had on our shelves already, and my 8-year-old is reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible. And then once a week I pick a story from the Bible Made Easy for Kids. We've done a couple of them already, where while they are coloring in their Bible coloring book, I will just read through one of the exercises here and we'll have a little discussion, and that's what we are doing for Bible study. For logic, my oldest, she is going to be doing Daily Higher Order Thinking grade 6. I do like this series. We have done quite a few challenging exercises since using this series. The goal is not necessarily to finish, we just complete what we complete. My younger two, however, this year will not be using this. For one of them, we need to spend more time with the language arts because that's really a struggle for her. So I will not be adding in anything extra, just the basic, spelling, reading, writing, grammar and that kind of stuff. So for the other two, because they are not independent, I have to teach both of them more or less together. We will not be doing this year, just my oldest. For math, we will continue with Math UC. This program does work with my kids, some a little slower than others, however it does work. So we are going to continue with Math UC. This year is more or less the same thing except that she'll be doing fractions, so it comes with this fraction overlay kit. So that's what we'll be doing this year. For grammar, my eldest, she will be using Easy Grammar grade 6. Now I do not have the Easy Grams as yet. I may add it later on in the year, but for now I just have the teacher's edition workbook, and I did buy a student workbook separate so that she can use this. As I said, she is more independent, so she'll be more or less doing this on her own, and I will just chip in where necessary. So, but my other two, however, they will continue with language lessons, but she'll be using this. All right, so for writing, as our main curriculum, we are going to be using writing rhetoric. Now, last year I did purchase the book 1, Writing Rhetoric, to give it a try, and especially my eldest, she really likes this program. We did just finish exactly halfway through this because we ended up jumping between this and Writing with Ease. Now, last year I did purchase the Writing with Ease level 4 as well, even though, as someone pointed out, which I appreciate, that most people don't do the Writing with Ease level 4, they just move on to either this, IEW, or something else. But for her, I personally find the Writing with Ease program to be a bit challenging, and the language arts is definitely something that is, she is stronger, and she's a natural reader, and she likes to write, and she loves grammar. Grammar is her favorite subject, so I wanted to give her that challenge. But once we started doing this, she quite honestly preferred doing this over the Writing with Ease because it was more enjoyable for her. So we just jumped between both programs, and we did not finish either of them, but she was not struggling at all doing any of the exercises. So we will not finish the book 1. We will just be moving on with book 2 and book 3 in the writing rhetoric. Book 2, narrative 1, and book 3, narrative 2. Now, according to this is geared towards grades 3 to grades 5 for the book 2 and book 3, but we are going to just progress through, and if it is, I noticed that about halfway through it's not challenging her at all, I am just going to go ahead and move on to the book 4. Now, moving forward, writing rhetoric is now going to be our main spine for writing. For one of my younger ones, Writing with Ease was just pretty discouraging, for her to be quite honest, so I'm not going to be using that with her. And for one of my other daughters, the Writing with Ease, even though she can benefit from using that, because both of them are not independent like my eldest is, I will be mainly using this curriculum. Once in a while, I may pull from the Writing with Ease if I have the ability to, for one of them, just to give her a challenge. But this is now going to be our writing curriculum. For writing, they are also going to continue writing stories. Last year, they all had a notebook that they were assigned, and they would write a story and then draw if necessary. And that's what they did last year. They write a whole lot of stories, and that was actually pretty fun. For them to come up with the story ideas, what I would have them do if they were running into problems is they would pick a storybook or a chapter book that they enjoy reading, and they would use that as like a writing prompt, because I did try a writing prompt book with not my eldest, with my younger two, and I did not really like it, so I ended up sending it back. So we're just going to continue using, like stories that they've read already as like writing prompts. That way, I think that's more of a challenge for them. So that's what we're going to continue doing. So this is her writing notebook for this year, and I think we just did like 2 so far. So all of them are going to be doing this. This is just my eldest, but they're all going to be doing this. Most times they have to finish 1 a week, and for my eldest, she does a whole leaf back and front minimum, and for my younger ones, they just write on at least 1 sheet, and if they want to draw, then they have to write on 1 sheet, and then they can draw behind. So that's what we're going to be doing as well for writing. For comprehension, for my eldest, I just printed out some comprehension worksheets from K12reader.com. This is their 12th grade comprehension worksheet. It's just 12 sheets so far. They do have a subscription, like $20 a year, or I think it's like $3 a month, but this is just free, so you have to deal with, like all the pop-ups, like ads and stuff on the website, which I'm fine with. So that's what we're going to be doing for comprehension. There's so many websites that you can get free comprehension worksheets from that, I didn't buy anything. I just put this together using my coiling machine. So that's what we're going to be doing for comprehension. And then as extra resources to help us with, like structuring her paragraphs and, really building on her essay writing, I added how to write an awesome paragraph, and then how to write a 5-paragraph essay. So we are going to have these as resources that she can use to help her as she continues to work on her writing. She's not going to be writing in these necessarily. She's just going to use this, like read these to help her along. All right, so for spelling, we are going to be continuing with all about spelling. Now, last year we actually started with the level 4, and we were able to get through that pretty quickly. So we did the level 5 as well. This year we intend to do level 6, and if she completes this one quickly as well, then we are going to move on and do level 7. If we don't, it will just go over into the next school year, God's spare. This is actually the last book in the series, so once we have completed this, you would have complete an official like spelling program as well. And my younger ones, they are also using the All About Spelling program. Now for reading, she is not doing an official reading program because she has completed levels 1 through 4 in the All About Reading program. My younger ones, they are still using the All About Reading. So she is not using an official reading program for reading. She'll be doing a combination of nonfiction and fiction reading. For her fiction reads, she have a lot of, like chapter books and stuff that she enjoys that she has on her shelves already, or I buy her books as she sees stuff that she's interested in, or I find things that I would like her to read. And once we can, we will try to resume going back to the library to, get books, especially for her fiction reads. For her non-fiction reads, however, she would read, like some of her books that she needs to for school, and also like she has 2 hobbies in particular that she's really interested in that she will be doing a lot of work in this year. So that's going to comprise her reading. And I do talk a little bit more about that on my blog if you are interested. All right, so for science, as her main spine, she is going to be using God's Design for the Physical World. Last year, she completed the Human Body, Animals, and Plants series. And this series, you get some like quizzes and like questions and quizzes and stuff in your email once you purchase the program. I did buy the entire program. So, and I had her choose which one she wanted to do this year, and she chose the physical world because she has a heavy interest in technology. So we are going to be starting with inventions and technology. The intention is not necessarily to try and finish this entire thing this year, but we are going to get started on this. I was hoping to start last year, but we actually did not get to it. So we are starting this year. This, together with YouTube videos, documentaries where necessary, I use a lot as supplements so that it is not just a whole lot of book work. But this is going to be the spine for her science. I use videos and documentaries for sciences and social studies a lot to kind of supplement and break up all that book work. But this is going to be her science spine. For my younger ones, I may, depending on the topic, read aloud to them and then, add in a video so that they can have a visual to go with it. And then I have some other simpler books there that I will be using with them as well. But this is going to be my 6th grader main science curriculum. All right, so for social studies, we actually have not made a lot of changes this year. A lot of things that I bought last year, we're just going to continue on from there. So anyway, so for American history, a lot of it is just going to come from the What Your Kid Needs to Know series. I'm just going to, take out the history portion, read through the history portion. We're just going to read and discuss that. Now, the 5th grade one, she has actually read through it on her own. And this 5th grade book, for some reason, the spine doesn't seem to be as strong as the others. And it's the first time I've had a problem since buying the series. It at certain points of the book, the way how the spine lays out, or the binding is laying out, it seems as if it might come apart. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but anyway, that's a side story. So she read through this. I'm hoping that once more for the term, she can read through the 5th grade one, and then we have just the history and geography portion of the 6th grade What Your Kid Needs to Know book that we are going to go through this year. The rest of it, I'm going to leave it up to her for her to read if she wants to or not, to be honest. So that is for history. For history, we also own the World History and American History from the Big Fat Notebook series. We actually bought this May last year, but I'll get to this soon. So we have that as well for American history. For African American history, I actually did not add a lot of readers this year. Over the years, we've built quite a library that we can still, glean from. So I just added Heart and Soul, the story of America and African Americans. And then Howard Zinn's A Young People's History of the United States. Now, I did want to, she has read through this already, and I did want to mention that considering the topic at hand, she did say that the way how this is laid out, it was actually, it was easy to read. So she read through this. We intend to go through this together and have discussions reading this, because I'm pretty certain that I can, learn quite a bit from reading from that. And then I'm going to very casually read a little bit from The History of the People of Trinidad and Tobago by Dr. Eric Williams. for them, so that they can have, excuse me, so that they can get a little bit more connected to their Trini heritage, since they are American Trinis. So that is what we are going to be doing for history. Now for geography, we are going to continue with exactly what we had last year. I had combined the DK Science workbooks, grades 3 to 6. Now the grades 3 to 6, she has actually finished most of this, but there's still a few that she can complete. So we are going to continue with that. And then this maps and geography, there's quite a few that are quite a bit that she can do in here still. She jumps around a lot in a lot of her books. She jumps around and doing the book, and I allow her to do that since that works for her. It keeps her motivated and not bored just going through in sequence. So anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing for geography. For civics and money, now for civics and money, we're going to be continuing with a lot of what we had last year. Now these Osborne books, I really like these, and she enjoyed reading these. Not the politics and government so much, but the money and business, she will take these up and read these on her own. She's read them several times, so she's going to continue with that. For money, I don't think that we need to add anything else besides just home discussions for money right now. And then for politics, for civics, or politics, we are going to be continuing with the Osborne Understanding Politics and Government. The infographics, they are really nice. And then we also own the Everything American Government book, so she can also sometimes read from here, just to kind of probably get a little bit more detail on the topic if necessary. And then we add in videos for civics as well. So so that's what we are going to be doing for civics and money. Every year thus far, I have been adding in the brain quest and what your kid needs to know. And I'm only homeschooling for 7 years now, but thus far it always has been useful, at least up until now. Every time we have like a period, because life happens to us all, where we can't get to our main curriculum, this really does work out really well as a fallback. And my kids really like the brain quest. We had a couple notebooks, different random grades that when I used to go to the thrift store a lot, that I had on the shelves there, and I would have them try pages from other books, and they always say they prefer the brain quest. I also like the I think it's the complete, I can't remember it exactly, I might put a picture in the screen, but the complete curriculum books, those are pretty good, but because they have like a main curriculum, that's just a bit too much. So that's why we stick with the brain quest. I really like this series. Right now she actually did a couple from the grade 5 in the math and language arts already, because on a Friday sometimes I will have them use this depending on how our Fridays go, because having all girls, I usually wash their hair on some Fridays. So we've done some on this. Once we finish with the grade 5, I will have her do the grade 6. So this, even though it should be coming in the mail, so even though it's not here, we're going to be doing the grade 5 and the grade 6 this year. And I'm pretty certain that we'll get through what we want to get through in those, because we don't necessarily finish every single page using these, but we do quite a bit that makes it worth buying every year. So that's what we have as our, like, so to speak, fallback. For my younger ones, for their science and social studies, I will be doing a lot of read alouds from these very important books. Well, that's the name of it. My encyclopedia, Very Important Animals, Very Important Things, and Very Important World. And sometimes for their nonfiction reads, I have been assigning these to them, where I would have them just read through it, look at the pictures, they can talk about it. And what I have also done is, like, I would pick a page. I know I did it in the animals, a section in the animals, and also I believe is my important things, where I would have them, I will have them read, say for example, I will have them read on building beavers, and they have to read through it a couple times, and then I will tell them that we are going to discuss it, and they have to kind of tell me some things that they have learned while reading about building beavers. So we have been going through some of this, and we will use this. I'll be using this with my younger ones together with videos a lot for their social studies and science, sorry. And as I said, you know, sometimes I may read from the In God's Design, but I'm just going to keep it simple for my younger ones with their science and social studies. And I did want to mention this Big Fat Notebook series. Now, I actually bought this, I think it's about May last year. And I just bought it to just add as, you know, like readers, nonfiction reading for my eldest. And she have actually been enjoying these. I think the only two she has not read all the way through is the math and the science. She read through the world history, American history, English, and she definitely read through this one a couple times. So we have been using these. So these are just like readers, like nonfiction reading that I added for her. And what I think I'm going to do this year is for times when we can't get our main curriculum, and to give an alternative to doing the workbook, she can just choose to read this. Since she enjoys reading, that will be, you know, she'll be still learning on the topic, sorry, but she'll be doing it in a way that she enjoys, which is reading. All right, so those are our choices for this year. I know that my video is pretty late. I usually just have my one video, my curriculum video, and it's pretty late this year, but life has really been doing its thing, but that's how it is sometimes. And I wasn't sure that I would actually get to do a curriculum video this year, but thankfully, you know, it worked out eventually. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video, and if it is you have any questions, you can ask them below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, thank you again for watching. Take care. Bye.